Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's my session here at the Global AI Symposium at the September conference. My name is Hira Jungle. Currently working for Bank of America, and I lead AI, machine learning, and automation platform work. Today, I'm very excited to talk about this interesting framework I've been working past few years around transforming the data into expected business outcome through artificial intelligence. In next 30 minutes or so, I'll be spending these four specific focused discussion to walk you through around building AI organization to applying the framework that I would like to introduce to each one of you here today, and then diving deep a little bit into the traditional machine learning system with respect to the generative AI, which is a large language model operational aspect of that, and then we'll wrap up talking a little bit about the current trend around the agentic AI. So going down into a simple drill down view from those insight, I think from the adoption and use of the framework, it's essential to talk about designing AI organization. So you might be in a different timeline view in terms of the initiative around AI, starting your own AI organization, or even like scaling path, right? This is very important to discuss about your alignment of the vision of AI and strategy to the organizational mission and vision statement, and how we need to make sure we understand the value proposition through the AI, and the AI is going to bring to across the business, tech, operational, and risk organization. It's also important to talk about the AI risk management functions and how it enables you to the adoption and acceleration of the business value. And then within the 6-layer framework, which is an interesting layer framework, I'll be spending a few more dive deep into the end-to-end use of the frameworks that leverage any data services to use the AI and produce the expected business outcome. Traditional ML system, generative AI system is what we can go through there as well, and the latest human-machine collaboration opportunities that's coming through agentic AI systems. So talking about 3-pillar vision, I think this is perhaps one of my interesting discovery I made out through some of the personal interviews I ran out across business tech, risk, and operational folks, and then there were like a list of the use cases that came into play and understanding those pain points, need, and challenges. And I was thinking about how to solve those problems, right? And what kind of technology and solutions I need to come. So basically doing some analysis around the set of the use cases, I was able to come up with these 3 specific verticals, which is AI and machine learning, automation, and advanced analytics. I also figure out that not all the AI use cases that does require today AI to solve problem. There are certain things that you can do as simple correlation, enrichment of the data, and you visualizing the advanced analytics from, right? So you can use the analytics as a solution to solve those problems. And there are like many mundane tasks, or the rule-based or the workflow automation can be applied to automated simple manual work type of use case that come into these verticals, right? So, and then finally, the more advanced capabilities, historic analysis you have to do, or detection and prediction kind of the view type of the use case that could be verticalized into this AI and machine learning tower. And then wrapping all these key use cases, aligning to the key benefits, expected outcomes, and further measuring the key success metrics would be the way to move forward. Yeah, the operational or the operating model is another key component as we start designing AI organizations in terms of like this is very much true across every enterprises and the business landscape I have seen across the industries where every organization tends to have needs to focus on data, people, technology, and process. Where I think the data is the primary dependency for the AI, whether you're building models or AI-powered application or even advanced analytics. Without that data, I think there is no possibility to move ahead. And how can you ensure the security and the authorized access of data from the governance need, allowing people to learn about this kind of capability and the technology such as AI becomes the enabler for the business results and the outcome and ability to do like automations of existing workflow, all kinds of the process around that. So those are like a key kind of the operating models that we can think around. I think this is my favorite part because within AI organization, as you start thinking about, this is perhaps one of the interesting principle every human resources working within the AI across the leadership, technology, and operational side needs to think about the principle, the guiding principle, right? So this is a high facts. HIFACTS is a terminology I just came out that kind of like very much representative of every industry and business ecosystems where human-centered AI is the number one focus today, right? How would you build a design and build system centered around the human aspect, whether it's a user-centric, customer-centric kind of the view, and then understanding the inclusivity of the data use cases, right? And then taking this fairness and the ethical standard view, accountability of the systems and the system owners and the system users as well, and introducing the compliance, which is kind of the risk management functions, gaining visibility into system end to end, taking from data model and the AI and the output layer. And then lastly, introducing this security and privacy by design concept at early stage of the development of the systems or application that you're building, so you can speed up the adoption at the accelerated rate. And then I think from the scale standpoint, when you think about taking this AI organization from zero to at scale pathway, it definitely some certain kind of framework could be helpful, right? So something I've been very keen to and bring that into practice label is this PARC frameworks, which is people, architecture, routine, and culture framework. This can be introduced into across, how would you build the best and brightest version of the human resources that's supporting the organizations, and then coming off your own kind of the customized structure that fits into your vision, and then establishing a routine across every workforce management functions, and then finally the capability to design a culture that also aligns to the overall organization, but also your ability to propel that 5 people resource culture to perhaps as you grow from 5 to 10, hundreds and thousand and beyond, right? So this is where I think this PARC framework is very helpful. And I've seen this is working, with a lot of peer leaders across the industry as well. And then you can talk about pretty much around the growth plan as starting AI organization initiative is truly a journey. It's a timeline view, right? It takes time. There's a maturity metrics that involved to analyze in terms of going from day one to at scale. The tactical strategic transformative pathway is what I consider to be the way to go into the most valuable state of the journey, right? So normally talking about tactical, we'd look at the people aspect, all the resource formalization to initiatives, certain frameworks to work on, looking at the prioritization and the quick wins where we can build something as an MVP that might take like 3 to 4 months of timeline view, and then you can move into more like growth states as a strategic pathway, scaling out, and at some point we can reach to transformative phase. That's where I think the system that you are building is scalable, reliable, and secure, but also from the maturity standpoints, it can produce the expected business outcome that can directly relates to impacting this capex and the opex values. And then, yeah, some of the trends I'm also seeing from as the execution and the strategic pathway around the AI vision is, every organization and enterprises I've seen where they wanted to have their own kind of the platform. It could be consumer-facing platform that enables their machine learning systems or AI application delivery, or it could be like more enterprise platform that enables the enterprise resource to build their own system on top of the platforms, right? The capability and enable a lot of workflow around that. You can have this customized AI models that can directly coming from the cloud infrastructure as a distribution pathway, or you can have a direct pathway to the LLM providers from there. And then build your own model is one of the classic example that we have seen a lot of enterprise treasuries have been doing for years, right? AI as a service is something, and then you have this capability to look at from the sourcing different kind of large language models based on your business need. So different kind of AI services, as we have seen, if you look at the whole AI stack, the fine tuning and RAG is what has been the number one the techniques to interact with the internal systems and the data, and then different kind of search capability, connector methodology, and the bot services like the conversational AI, and then the AI builder is something like studio type of view, and then that allows you to build various applications related to infrastructure side, services, products, and the API capability there. This is one example. As you understand, as we go into like Copilot kind of view, you may be thinking how the Copilot is working, right? This is one of the anatomy that you can think about. 4-layered kind of approach, driving all the way from compute layer, which is primarily the infrastructure side. And then you'll have this option to interconnect with the foundation model stack, which can be hosted foundational model, or you can do foundational hosted foundation with the fine-tuned capability, or you can use option as a bring your own model, and then you move into orchestration layer, pretty much, connecting to different function calls, rules, integrations, and then designing and operating the prompt optimization house, and then building application on top of that. That's where there's a query and response side kind of interaction taking place end to end bidirectionally from this point of view. So this is where I wanted to spend a little bit more time in terms of like the 6-layered framework as I was talking earlier. This is one of my favorite topic I do across C-suite executive through different AI conferences and executive summits here in Silicon Valley to understand and the curiosity around how do I begin the AI journey, and where do I begin, and what kind of problems or the use case I should focus on, right? And then what's the methodology look like from the implementation standpoint. So I build this kind of framework, which is analogous to the classic OSI layer framework. If you have came across this the OSI layers 7-layer system, how does the computer A talks to computer B, right? So this was the analogy around this kind of framework I was building and creating, and then evangelizing this for various kind of the iterations over the time. I think it's on a high level, it's a pretty much we have data model and then output, right, from the traditional model system perspective, but also it's essential to understand, data can come from various sources, internal and external. But I think we need to also have a visibility in terms of who is producing data as a first layer, right? And how the data is being stored as a system of record. So you have this provider access to whether you're doing data set management or fine tuning, even on that scale. Then, storage of the data, or in terms of connecting to the data lake as a data infrastructure, and then moving into the MLOps view. So MLOps is pretty much a concept around training models, building models, and then deploying model output in production systems. There are specific kind of the experimentation involves selection of base model and model techniques that involves there, where you can train models and then evaluate a hyperparameter tuning evaluation of the model output to get into expected performance matrices. So you can decide, okay, my model is ready to go into production or integration of model output the business workflow, right? So, and then also like running feedback loop is very key in the traditional ML system as you are focusing on data-centric model, because data can change for various reasons, and you have the option or the capability to detect those kind of the model drift monitoring or data drift monitoring that you can re-feed back to as a re-ingestion of data and retrain the model. So your performance level of the model output will always be at the threshold value that you have designed to use. And then, through this kind of the uh, view, you would produce the business outcome. So the business outcome can be any business metrics is your organization or the head organization is looking to transform, right? So you can have this kind of your own approach to get there. But I think to produce the business outcome from those various data sources, you can apply these frameworks to get there on the traditional ML system. And this was, again, like now with the emergence of the generative AI back in 2022, right? This is where I think I was thinking about aligning the same frameworks, the ML ops to the LLM ops. So I was just coming up with some interesting ways to kind of similar kind of alignment where what changes that is taking place, as this is where perhaps you can define what's the distinction between ML ops and the LLM ops. There are definitely there are dependencies on data infrastructure, but there are certain methodology and the techniques that use and the flow of data, pre-trained, which is publicly trained data set versus you bring in-house and you do in-house based model selections, right? That's where I think you have the approach to discover the the large language models as an option to bring in, and then you can do all kinds of orchestration layer on top of that, running like RAG versus fine tuning, when to RAG and when to fine tune, those kind of the decision making capability, and running prompt engineering. If you need to do like reinforcement learning through human loop is where we can do, and then building and deploying the applications and serving to the business users, right? So that's where I think there is a slight distinction, although both has like some of the common denominators, and then there's the terminology distinction around that, around the guardrails AI, responsible AI is heavily used in this generative AI case because of the AI risk management function across compliance remediations, security and privacy aspect out there. But looking at, I think, from the flow standpoint, I think, yeah, I want to produce the expected business outcome, but it's truly driven by the, available data, and I need to focus on this kind of the end-to-end view. Some of the, internal and external kind of innovation use cases, these are very generic from industry standpoint, right? As we have seen, last year was pretty much demo year, and this year has been a lot of like POCs happening across all the industries, right? And potentially all a few apps are already in the production system, but primarily there has been a lot of like prioritized use cases we have seen, like for developer experience, co-pilots, kind of the view, right? And then building your own kind of platform is what we have seen across all the industry as well. So you can empower the technology resources to build the AI applications and models quicker and more efficient manner, and then analytics and automation capability. And then there could be some kind of internal innovations that something you build out of your ML platform as an enabler solution, but this can be, various kind of other use cases that might focus into your internal users, which is inside of your organization. That could be like support, building like a customer experience support applications, or it could be like automating this whole software development lifecycle through AI capability and including the CI/CD pipeline, right? So this is another examples I too see as in use cases out there. So today's discussion may not be complete without talking about the things that's going around at scale, or emergence of the scale, I would say today, right? Which is agentic workflow through large language model. So this is one of the very interesting paradigm we're seeing across all industries as an opportunity to look at closely, where I think the next era is going to be more like a human-machine collaboration. We have seen the human-machine collaboration in our classic infrastructure side, security side, and software development side. But I think the AI-based human collaboration at scale is at the tip of the emergence now, right? And if you think about going back to the evolution pathway on this, we have seen back as a classic emergence of ERP systems, and then we got into this robotic process automation system, which is pretty much rule-based automation workflow. Now we are entering and then into this AI agents, which is a co-pilot version of that through the large language model, towards this multi-agent system, maybe swarm of agent system, which is autonomous in nature, right? That's where I think control plane meets the data plane kind of architecture is coming into play. And it's going to be pretty much like the agentic workflow, which is autonomous in nature by in nature. What does that mean? It's they're going to have their own kind of short-term memory, long-term memory to use, and then those agents would have all capability to autonomously work on like various tools integrations to bring certain specific action items to take in. They can also have this reasoning and planning capability, and running this kind of holistic view of collaborative nature of the agent A is talking to agent B and planning certain kind of actions, and then doing a lot of work in terms of delivery execution paths, right? So this is where I see the domain specific agents are already coming into our business ecosystems, right? But I think when we talk about at enterprise at scale agentic system, we're talking about now, there at some point, if you are an organization of 20,000 engineers, perhaps you will have this capability to build 2 million or 20 million agents operating at scale on a more control, responsible, and risk framework, right? So that's the kind of the future where I see we're heading towards. perhaps, and it's taking time. And so we're getting there, right? So there will be more like control plane function that's coming into play that will help us to design, build, evangelize, and operate agents across different business functions. It could be, infrastructure, cloud, or endpoints kind of management agentic workflow and agents that can operate on that containerized version versus, agents that can do the classic software engineering workflow collaborations. There could be agents that just function around the delivery and the execution functions, and think about the product management function, right? The product management function can have multi-agentic AIs to collaborate with them that can help them to requirement gatherings, to prioritization, working directly, a hybrid nature of the AI agents working with the designers and then development team to execute in the post-production deployment function. That's where I think, the frameworks are widely, there are multiple frameworks already available to use. And this is where I see the next evolution and growth and trends in the whole generative AI space. So with that, I would like to pause and thank you very much for each one of you for joining my today's session. Thank you.